Now, like those mothers that they love to take alcohol, they love to smoke, and some other things. It affects the child. When they give birth to some of them, you see them, they may be challenged with cerebral palsy and all sorts of kind of challenges. And now, let's go back to, okay, the mother is okay. There's another one. There are some mothers that when they are pregnant, probably there are some pregnancy-induced hypertension. There are some mothers that they are pregnant and they have diabetes. And you know, definitely they will be taking their drugs and some things. But grace sometimes counts for some people. Because some may say, I have aunt that when she was pregnant, she was hypertensive, and she gave birth to a normal child. It's grace.
Yeah.
Majority sons, they don't have such grace. So when such happened, the kind of drugs.
Some mothers too are lazy to take this their daily routine.
Yes.
Can you also be part of it?
Yes, I'm still going there. Yeah. Some part of drugs that mothers most especially takes in when they are pregnant come back to affect such children. And that is why you see in the hospital during antenatal, the doctor normally let them know that take your maintenance and don't take any other drugs aside the one being prescribed for pregnancy. That's one. And another one that normally causes this is, I'll put it, when they want to give back to them now, you know, during sometimes a pregnant woman will need to go for scan, blah, 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 but some will not. Even some will not even go for their antenatal. Then when they now want to give birth, sometimes it's sometimes bizarre. You see someone, they will say, like in Yoruba, but in English now, they will say goats easily give birth, rams easily give birth. But I keep telling them that we are not rams, we are not goats. We are human beings. So now there are some, let's talk about perfect now. That's another cause during childbirth. Because sometimes majorly prolonged labor normally cause some.
That's another issue.
Yes, prolonged labor. You see some women, they are already in labor for some long hours, a day, 2 days.
And sometimes when doctors suggest CS,
they will say no.
No.
Yes,
that they want. It's a taboo.
Exactly, that they want to do it.
Your labor has prolonged. Let us do CS so that you be safe and child will be safe.
Exactly.
They don't want, either because they don't have money to do that, or they're just scared. But they don't know these are things that can affect children. And when the children comes now, you go and abandon the children. You throw the children away. You as if it's the fault of that child. But that is your own fault as a mother.
Yes.
Mothers, be careful.
And in most cases, it's not even that some don't have money or this and that, but I would term it as ignorance. Because if they know what will happen, if they know the repercussion of not having CS when they're supposed to have it, I'm telling you, they will quickly get it done. So during that time, when there are some women, another thing is that there are some women, there are some women naturally, they have narrow pelvic. You may see a woman that is fat, but their pelvic is narrow. Such women, if they give birth to 3, 4, 5 children, they will have to go through CS. They cannot give birth naturally. It's not a cause. It's just how stuff happens. And there are some that they can give birth naturally, but probably because they are not okay, maybe they have one illness or the other, doctor might suggest CS. So what am I saying? Some women, they will say no, that they want to give birth like Hebrew women. I'm a Christian, I'll keep saying it. But they want to give birth like Hebrew women. No problem. But the question I normally put forth to them is that, do they have faith like Hebrew women? If they have faith like Hebrew women, if they now give birth to such children, then why throwing them away? Then why not caring for them? So, but to go back to what we are saying, in all sincerity, prolonged labor normally causes this. And by the time they give birth to such children now, what happens that make them to be this? Some children, they give birth to them, they will now be challenged with what we call asphyxia. And what is asphyxia? That is loss of oxygen. That is the cases where you see a neonate, they just give birth to them and they could not cry because they are tired. They have spent longer period in the womb when they're struggling to come out, so they might not be able to cry. And if peradventure, the doctor or the midwife or people in charge, they were struggling for the life of the mother and they still abandoned the baby, let me put it that way. After some hours, the life of that baby is already destroyed. Because when the baby is not crying, the brain is shrinking. The brain is dying. And the question is that, why does babies cry? You know, God is almighty and faithful. When they give birth to a child and the baby starts crying, then the brain starts working. because oxygen is coming in. Yes, oxygen is coming in, and right from that moment, they are developing themselves. Developmental has started forming.
Taking place, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But when they don't cry, take for example, like in our home or several homes, I can say it anywhere. Majority of children living, special needs children, they are challenged with asphyxia, ataxia, and these are the things that has to do with the problem they encounter when they were giving birth to them. So when such happen and the brain starts shrinking, I'm telling you, by the time they're supposed to be sitting, they will not be able to sit. When they're supposed to control their saliva, they will start drooling. When they're supposed to start crawling, they will not be able to do it. Eventually, they will not be able to do anything. And not only that, like, I will have to say, because anywhere I go, she happens to be the face of angels in my care. Like, for example, in Adoka, we have a particular girl that we call face of Adoka home. Like, this is just what happened. Prolonged labor, at the end of the day, forcefully they gave birth to her. At the end of the day, she was challenged with asphyxia stage 3. And that is the highest of it. We call it HIE, hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. That's a total brain damage. And such people, even when you make research about it, research says 75% of them will even die before their 18th month on earth. And the remaining 25 that they will be useless. Why does research say that? Because they believe that it's a terminal diseases. This kind of people, they were just breathing. They were just going day by day. They cannot do anything.
Okay.
So,
some of them also die, which they call stillbirth.
Exactly, before that, yes. And another one now that happens after birth, is there are a lot of it. It's not a simple topic. Another one that happens after that is, I would like to call it, maybe accident after they have given birth to them. You know, some people, when they carry the baby may have a fall, rather. So when it happens, they just carry them, give them paracetamol, not knowing that the baby already has brain damage. So instead of, and when a baby has fall or has anything, consult your doctor. Take them to the hospital. Let them check their brain, let them check them. But because of ignorance, they will carry them back, give them paracetamol, and before you know, when they're supposed to start doing what's supposed to, they are unable to do it.
You know, all time I did the same thing, though. This one is up now. When if I just hit something and rub the place, you know, even as educated as I am. So we're all learning from this, and that is why I really value this topic. We'll take a break now, come back, continue. Vivid View, say and do it. Welcome back. We're still dealing with children with special needs. And that takes me to the next question. What is major role of NGOs and orphanage homes in this regard?
To go straight to the point, major NGOs and orphanage, home for special needs. I will not say orphanage.
Okay, home
because
for
when
special
we mention
needs.
yes, when we mention orphanage, it's quite different from home for special needs.
Okay.
But we have homes that they are orphanage and at the same time they render services for special needs children.
So it still implies. Okay,
yes.
go on. Yeah.
So for orphanage we have regular people, regular orphans. That is the only thing is that they don't have parents, but they can do other regular things. Yes. But the roles of NGO for special needs people and the role of home orphanage for them is the fact that, like I said, special needs people, they need special assistances. Special needs people, they need special teachers. Special needs people, they need special caregivers.
And those teachers are equally trained specially to take care of this.
Yes, to take care of them. So, like I said the other time, when we mention special needs, it goes a long way. There's a kind of challenge that we call dyslexia. Like children challenge, the dyslexic children, you will see them, they talk, they do everything. They are home with their parents. They are in school. But the problem is they find it difficult to assimilate, to understand their topics as others.
This is Vivid View.